Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards, and I am here today with another video in my Project Life series for 2024. One of my biggest goals this year, if you saw my first video, is to keep it light, keep it loose, have fun, and let myself enjoy the process. And so one of the ways that I am doing that is by really trying to get stories documented during the week itself. And so what I'm finding with that is it's going to change a little bit of the way that I share these videos, because I'm not coming to my table, at least at this time in the process, I'm not coming to my table and saying, okay, here's everything I have to work with this week and I'm putting it together. I'm trying to do little bits at a time over the course of the week. And sometimes I'm filming myself and sometimes I'm not. And I just really wanted to give you a little bit of an intro here before it dives right into a couple different pieces of the process of some of the inserts that I am using in this week's storytelling. So all that to say, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I hope that you can have so much fun with me as we go about the course of this year, being loose in this project, having fun capturing micro stories, having fun filling the pockets. All right, let's dive into week 2 in Project Life 2024. Okay, so I'm in the middle of working on week 2, and I already have one insert in here from the story kit this month, which was the theme of start. And Betty and I did an awesome hike this morning. So I'm wanting to add in a full page photo of her up at the top of our hike. And then I'm going to write on this journal card right here and have that be the story that's going to get put onto this photo. What I think that I'm going to do is actually cut up a pocket and place that on there. And actually, I think before I do that, I want to look and see. I don't think I have any other pockets. I was kind of thinking like a library pocket. Ooh, maybe I do have one though. Look at these guys. You may have these in your stash too. So this could be fun. Okay, that one just says loving the story, but I think what I want to do is I want to use that 1, 2, 3 card. So I'm going to take this out of here. Might need to trim it just a little bit to get in there. These are from the Grow story kit, so that was a while ago. And but that is fun. That's what I wanted. So I wanted a pocket. I was thinking of maybe, you know what else I want? I think I want a bigger circle there. So I'm going to make things that I want. So I'm going to take this circle punch here and just kind of want it on this side though. Just mixing it up. It was fine as it was, but better. Okay, so you could cut a page protector pocket and put it on there. This was just over here in my wonderful stash of things. With page protector, you can just cut it up and then add it right on top, but I think that I'm going to put it here and then I can slip this in. So this is the example that I wanted to share too, or what I talked about in my previous video of having some things that are outside of the page protector. So this has, here's the story on the front, but I can also, I want to look in both my January Stories by the Month kit and my story kit. See, there's this one. Actually, Life is Beautiful and I Have Time. Okay, that's what I want to put on there because this is a big sentiment for me this year, and I'm just going to stamp the date on there. That's going to be great. And then on top of the card here, I want to have something for a title. And then I'm going to put, there were like 3 things about this particular hike today. One, it snowed, or it was snowing when that happened. It was hard. And then afterward, I took Betty to a local place to have her nails trimmed, which was great. She hates it tremendously, but needed to be done. So I love this idea here. Another thing that could be done is, I was kind of thinking you could do like a transparent page. Let's just see which ones I happen to have. I just have a few, or some vellum ones. These are from ones last year. I just kind of wanted to see. This could be put on top as like a flip open. Just thinking outside the box, right, for some of these different things that might happen on here. So it can always just go directly on there. But I think one of the things I was thinking of is if I put a if I did a page protector pocket on here, I would still be able to see through there. And maybe I still want to be able to see through there. So let's see, what other ones do I have here? These are a few that have, yeah. These ones were smaller ones from a while ago. You can see this was from the Facts and Feelings story play, but obviously it's already kind of cut up along there. I wonder if I cut that and did like a half and half. Just playing around. Just playing around. I don't think I want the floral ones yet. It is not, we're not ready for florals. One thing I was thinking is I could, yeah, I was thinking about something like this that I could put down the side, and that would be in there as a page in and of itself, or it can actually be a flip open that ends up right here. So I have one of those page attachers in there. It's kind of fun. So I'm pulling out some different papers that I've had, you know, from different story kits over the last year or so, just kind of playing around with what I might want on here. So what will happen here is this, this will open up to show this picture of Betty. And I think I will do, like, this is another one that has a quote on it. So really trying to pull out some of the things from the past that can be flowed into Project Life. And if you want something super simple, again, you could just put a journal card right on top, right? That could be a really easy way to just have a story on here. But I'm kind of like, what happens if I do this? So I'm actually going to pull this out. All right, so who knows how many times this year I'm going to do an insert in my Project Life album, but I am this week, and it just felt like what I wanted to do. So what I'm playing around here, or playing around with here, is the idea of a page that is half pattern paper, half vellum. And I'm using a little bit of Scotch tape just to temporarily adhere it in place. I wanted the vellum to be on the inside portion, and so you can see that the reason why was so that I could have half of the page, right, be the vellum one, since I'd already cut out some of those circles previously. So I've got that set up. And I'm planning to do some sort of a hinge on the inside there related, or it'll be somehow attached to the photo on the back and the vellum on the front. And we'll get to that part in a little bit here. I am going to go ahead and use my rolling date stamp on top of that chipboard, which is from the Start Story Kit. Obviously, any sort of embellishment that you would have to add on to a pocket to illustrate your story is what you would want to pick for yourself. I come back again and again to the idea of, or the concept of being a translator of ideas, right? When you see me using different things, my goal is always for you to use what you have, right? Using what you have, looking at the shapes, looking at the colors, looking at the different things that you like to support the stories in your own life. On the back side there, I picked out a 3x8 card that was from the Hobbies story kit. It's a quote about hobbies, which I'm definitely trying to make being outside one of my hobbies this year as a go-to. I did go ahead and take those two pieces of paper that I had temporarily adhered together with Scotch tape, and I ran it through my sewing machine so it has a nice pop of yellow. I love my sewing machine for just this very purpose right here of stitching papers together. Next up, I wanted to create the hinge that is going to be adhered to the back of my photo. So you can see I'm folding it over. I'm actually going to trim the fold here in a couple minutes. But the big piece is going to go on, be attached to the photo of Betty there, and then the piece that folds over is going to get attached to the vellum. Now at this point in the process, I knew that I was going to cover that up with some washi tape. I didn't know which washi tape yet, but rather than only using washi tape, I want to make sure it's a little bit more stable. So that's why I'm using this, or why I'm creating a hinge using this paper here. So folding that over, it's pretty thin. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch, and I'll be using red line tape on there in just a minute to adhere that. The first thing though that I'm doing is I'm adhering my photo of Betty down on there. This whole piece here is going to get adhered down onto one of the stories that I told using pieces from the story kit this month. So I already had a photo insert there. You can see super thin along the line. So again, this is red line tape that's about 1/4 of an inch. It's going to be on the hinge there, and that is going to attach to the vellum, and then I will cover that with washi tape. I'm actually going to use one washi tape on the outside and then a different one on the inside. It's just a little bit of white, but I wanted it a little more finished, and adding the patterned washi tape or over the on top of the white finishes it off just a little bit, and you'll see more about that in a minute here. So that ended up working really well, and I feel like it was super solid. I almost always have pieces that I need to trim, so I use my my trimmer, or I'll use a metal ruler and a craft knife to cut things off. Okay, so this is the washi tape that I'm using for this. This is actually one that I got from Illustrated Faith a year or so ago, and it's like mountains and rivers. It's just a super cute one. So I'm trimming that off. Washi tape can be so fun, you know, as a functional item, but also as a pop of color or a pop of pattern. Next thing I am going to do is I'm going to adhere this entire opening page, or this open page that opens up. My language today is crazy. I am going ahead and putting red line tape down on the back there. This is going to be super adhesive to really keep it all in one place. You can see that originally this page that I did with the story kit is on a page attacher. So that is what goes directly into the album. You could also always punch holes in your project. That's part of the reason why I oriented this one the way that I did, where it folds on the inside. I didn't need to punch any holes there. I could just lay it down right on top of the photo that was already there and the page attacher that is going to go directly into the album. Here's where I'm using my craft knife and my metal ruler to trim off a little bit of the excess, and then I'm going to be grabbing one more washi tape. This is a really thin washi tape, and this is one of the reasons why that comes in handy. A fun little black and white there that I am adding on to the inside portion of the fold open. So that part, yeah, turned out super cute. I really like doing this. And I think, you know, for me, obviously this is one story in a week of pocket stories, but I want you guys to be able to see how you can easily add, you know, these kinds of layouts or different things if you're wanting to play with different things into the pockets, or you can just simply be filling the pockets, right? There's lots of options and different ways that you can approach this style of memory keeping, whether you're doing weekly or monthly, you know, whatever it is, whatever your own time frame is. So I put red line tape on the back of this craft pocket, and I put it into the album so that I could see right where it was getting adhered. I wanted it to be in line with the other 3x4 pockets that are a part of those original page protectors. And then I'm going to pull it back out. I think the last thing that I'm going to do on this one, well, there's a couple things. I'm going to do the journal card, actually. Yes, that is what is next. So for the journal card, I'm taking a tab sticker and I'm going to add that right on the back. I'm actually going to staple it in place. This card is going to go inside of that craft pocket. This is a numbered card from the Start Story Kit. And on the top of the journal card there, I'm going to stamp the word currently. I believe that particular stamp is from the Currently Story Kit. We've had currently on a few different stamp sets in the past because it is just a great jumping off point. Shout out to Kristen Tweedale and her Awesome Ladies project. And you can go check that out if you want to learn more about that. So I'm using a Slick Writer pen to add my journaling, and I am using the fact and feeling idea as a jumping off point. You know, coming back to the vellum, which says, you know, the facts and feelings. So I'm talking a little bit about the facts of hanging out with Betty and doing our outside adventures, and a little bit about the feelings of that as well. The Slick Writer, this one is a thicker pen, so it's going to be a little bit bolder on there compared to a precision pen or one of the micron pens. I don't think a ton about this before I just grab one on my desk, except for when I'm going to be grabbing a brush pen. So just adding that in there, underlining, and then this is going to get slipped inside of the pocket there. But before I do, I am going to take another journal card from the Start Story Kit, and I'm going to adhere that back to back so it's a little more finished in terms of having a card on both sides. And this one needs to get trimmed down just a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit off the outside edge for it to fit into that particular craft pocket there. Fun. I just had fun. It was a fun way to add in another story for this particular week there. And you can see again, that is a page attacher that's going into. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll also be adding another photo on the back of that spread that's on the inside. And you'll see that in a little bit. When I adhered the photo of Betty onto the back, there was some extra, there was a little bit bigger there. So I'm just trimming that down there. And then I'm going to add a sticker, a word phrase sticker here that is from the January Stories by the Month kit. And I'm just going to add it into the clouds there. This particular photo of Betty was at the beginning of the week, and this is the week where at the end of the week we ended up having ice and snowstorm. And even when I'm recording this in the week after we've been home for the last I think since Saturday. We've been home since today's Tuesday. We've been home since Saturday because it's still so icy and school's been canceled and all those kinds of things. So the rest of my spread here is going to include a lot of snow and ice photos, but that on that particular day, that was Betty and I going up on a hike up into one of our local mountains. So when I'm remembering, what I'm trying to do is capture myself adding journaling, because this is one of the moments where I added journaling onto a journal card for this particular week, where I'm using the frames. These are some die cut frames that we offered as an add-on. I'm using those as the repeated element for my journal cards with chipboard numbers from the Start Story Kit. So I'm really loving this concept of at the beginning of the week identifying something that is going to be repeated, and most of the time it's going to be journal cards. So this week I've got these frames with the chipboard numbers, and then next week I have stamped days of the week that I'm going to be using. So thinking a little bit about that, as a way to set yourself up for success if you like that idea, especially if you want to be doing it in the moment, handwritten journaling like I'm doing in this one. I feel like that makes it really easy. So here is another enlargement. This is going on the back of the spread that I did in the Story Kit classroom. I am simply adding in my 4x6 photos, so a couple more photos there of the snow and working at my desk, using the journal cards as the home for my little bits of journaling about doing nothing, and basically about how there's so much ice and snow, because that is really the main story from this week. I will be adding in one other photo, which is some mixed media that I did as we've been here stuck at home, which has been just as joyful as it always is. Love the mixed media, love the chance to do that. So writing a little bit more about the weather here, this is the micron pen that I'm using on this one. This is a 0.01 micron pen. And really this kind of journaling is very in the moment, right? It's like, this is what's happening right now. This is what we're doing. This is, has been happening this week, those kinds of things. So I kind of have a mixture of stories that are very specific to, this is what we're experiencing. And then for this one, I just kind of wrote a little bit about what I did on Sunday, which was I read a book and I got to do some mixed media. I've been recording myself doing this mixed media recently, and I'll be sharing it at some point here in the future. I'm just, again, along with my theme this year, my one little word of wild, I'm really trying to look for opportunities to be more free and loose in my painting, in my documenting, in kind of all of the creative projects that I am embarking on. I also did finish a book that I really enjoyed, which was, let me see if I can find the name for you guys. I think it's The First Lie, or The First Lie. Let me find it here. I took a picture of it. I didn't add it into my documenting this week, but I did take a picture and shared it. Let's see if I can find it. I got a lot of pictures from this past weekend. I'll find it and share it. First Lie Wins. That's what it's called. First Lie Wins. It was really good. If you like mystery thrillers, I was able to read it in like a day and a half. partly because of this snow and ice. So here's a backyard picture. This time, for this one, I just decided to do a full page photo. So sometimes I'll be doing full page photos. Sometimes I will be doing some of the storytelling pages, those directed prompt pages that we've offered in the past. Sometimes I'll throw one of those in there. It's going to be a mixture of different things throughout the year when I do inserts. Sometimes it's just really, really nice to have a big photo. And you could also do a 6x12 photo. You could do a 9x12 photo. When I was looking back at the last time that I did Project Life in a 9x12, I did a bunch of 9x12 full page photos, and I really liked those too. So that's a nice reminder to myself. On this one, I decided I had a few more photos that I wanted to include. So I'm adding in a 6x8 page protector with the 4 3x4 pockets. And I am printing out a couple photos. The girls had a volleyball tournament this weekend that ended up, they were able to play Saturday, and then it got canceled Sunday and Monday because it was just so icy and not safe. So I've got some pictures. I got a picture of the girls. I have a couple pictures around the yard, just of everything being encased in ice. I love the opportunity. I think, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this project again this year, is for these kinds of photos. Like, I just wanted a home for the kinds of photos that I take all the time, which tend to be a lot of pictures around my yard, what's happening in the yard, the outside sorts of things. So I'm looking forward to adding those kinds of things in. Next up, what I wanted to do is, this is a tag. I've got 2 tags here from the January Stories by the Month kit. I wanted to print out some journaling. I measured that back size, and then I'm printing that out on sticker paper. You can run the sticker paper through a printer like the PictureMate PM400. The sticker paper that I am getting, this clear sticker paper, can be used in an inkjet or a laser printer, so you can use it on either one of those. This one, you can see I didn't orient it great. Like, I could have moved it over to the side to save a little bit of extra, and I'm gonna work on getting better at that, I think, of cutting it up and just using smaller pieces so that I'm not wasting as much of it. But I love how it works. Obviously, I could have handwritten on the back of there. That would have worked fine, but I wanted that. I wanted a little bit of typed journaling added in. I like the opportunity to kind of think through what I'm saying a little bit more. And I just like the contrast between the handwritten journaling and the typed journaling. So I'm also taking a little bit of grow grain, which is always a hard word for me to say, ribbon, and adding that through the 2 tags. I used my tiny attacher to staple the ribbon in place, cutting off the frayed edges there. I'm going to add a little word phrase sticker, again from the January Stories by the Month kit, add that on top. And then I'm going to slip that into that 3x4 pocket there in my insert. So I'm not adding anything on top of these photos. I'm deciding to just leave them as they are. Sometimes I'll be adding embellishments onto photos, and other times I'll just be letting them tell their own story, right? Or having their own representation of a story. Last thing I'm doing right here is I'm adding an Avery Index Tab along the outside edge of that page protector, and I am stamping something that says, here's the story. That's the kind of stamping that I love to add in the middle, and then I'm going to stick that right into the Avery Index Tab. All right, my friends, this is a look at week 2. In case you missed that, the one up that's on the top on the front page, that is a text message that I printed out. I think I talked about that last week, and here's a little peek ahead at what's coming next week.